Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Baggy's Broadcasting Company. And tonight it's a good old Baggy quiz, a little bit similar to the quizzes that I used to run at the Horseshoe and indeed at the Black Horse. Except this one, of course, is by television or vision or whatever one likes to call it. It's a shame that we haven't actually got smelly vision, because I've just come out of the shower and I smell all nice of badiness, except I've got the bloody stuff on my eyes. But that apart, all is well. Now, Sheila and I have probably been busier this last week in the office than we ever have been, to be quite candid with you, because we've had so many government departments to deal with and so many suppliers to deal with. It's really been quite a task. And my top tip for today is, I'm sure that an awful lot more of you have indeed been trying to get hold of various people to get your mortgage payments, a moratorium on them and the like thereof. And it's awfully frustrating because you can't get through to the companies. You're on the telephone for hours listening to mindless music. But one thing, please do remember that the people that answer the telephone, whether they be in Bristol or Bangalore, are doing their best. You know, they're just there doing a job to answer the telephone, and try and be kind to them, because it ain't their fault, the situation that they're in. So, you know, just try and remember that. And actually, if you're kind to them, the chances are that you'll get through to a senior man, or a senior woman indeed, a lot quicker, and probably get it sorted out a lot quicker. So be pleasant to people, because they're doing their job and they're obviously suffering a lot of abuse from people. Don't be one of the abusers, be one of the friendly people, and you will get on a lot better with them. So, to the Baggy quiz. 50 questions tonight, 40 questions general, and 10 local questions about Shipston on Stour and the environs. We will have a beer break at question number 30, so 30 questions to start with, then a beer break and answers, and then the last 20 questions being 10 more general questions and 10 Baggy special local questions. So, without further ado, should I say, question number 1. According to the adverts, which brand of swimwear is the choice of champions? Which brand of swimwear is the choice of champions? Now, I can tell you that I have never worn these particular model of swimwear, and I'm very unlikely to either. Question number 2. We call it jam, and we have it on toast for breakfast, or on scones, or scones if you prefer. By what name would the Americans call it? You know, they have to be somewhat different. Jam. We have it on scones and the like thereof, but what do the Americans call it? Question number 3. Who was the Prime Minister of Cuba from 1959 to 1976, and then the President of Cuba from 1976 to 2008? I'll repeat that. Who was the Prime Minister of Cuba from 59 to 76, and the President of Cuba from 76 to 2008? Question number 4. Literature. What was the name of the Downton Abbey dog that was killed off, possibly because of her name? What was the name of the Downton Abbey dog that was killed off, possibly because of her name? In which television drama series was an MI5 agent called Zaf, that's Z-A-F, captured by terrorists, tortured and killed, poor bugger? In which television drama series was an MI5 agent called Zaf, captured by terrorists, tortured and killed? Ah, this is what I like. I did in these days anyway. Soaps. What was the surname of the famous Coronation Street couple who had children called Sylvia, Tony, Irma and Trevor? And I can tell you that the father of this particular tribe of children was very worried that he had become allergic to beer. And he had to go for tests to make sure that he wasn't allergic to beer. I'm glad to say that he wasn't allergic to beer. Sport, round ball game, football. Which member of England's 1966 World Cup winning team also played first-class cricket for Essex? Which member of England's 66 World Cup winning team also played some first-class cricket for Essex? Question number 8, pop music, which obviously I will not understand. Will Young, Jerry Lee Lewis, I know him, and the Kings of Leon all had number ones with which word in the title? I'll repeat that. Will Young, Jerry Lee Lewis, and the Kings of Leon all had number ones with which word in the title? Time for a fag. This is very much a local quiz. I don't intend it to go round the world and to go viral, as they say, particularly. It's just something I'm doing for local people. So there we go. Right, question number 9. Acronyms. What WSS, that's Whiskey Sierra Sierra, is a famous Leonard Bernstein musical? I'll repeat that. What WSS is a famous Leonard Bernstein musical? Question number 10. What was the name of the white cat in the Catameat television advertisements? What was the name of the white cat in the Catameat television advertisements? And he used to stick his paw in the tin and get it out with his paw and stick it up his gob. Now I see that a friend of mine, Cheryl Dudfield, is watching this, and she loves her pussycats, so maybe she'll get the answer to that. You probably all will, if the truth's known. Okay, films. What is the name of the supervillain in the films Despicable Me and Despicable Me 2? The surname of this supervillain. I have not seen Despicable Me, or Despicable Me 2, or Despicable Me 3, 4 or 5, but there we go. What is the surname of this particular chap? Question number 12. Name this year. Wycliffe Jean, or it could be Wycliffe Jean, but Wycliffe Jean, it's spelt anyway. Sean Diddy Coombs and J.Z. were all born in which year? I'll repeat that. Wycliffe Jean, or Wycliffe Jean, Sean Diddy Coombs and J.Z. were all born in which year? And if you get the year spot on, you get 2 points. If you get the year up to 3 years either side, you get 1 point. And question number 13, food and drink. And we're off to the land of the wop. And I don't mind saying that, because if people want to call me a fat pom, or a biftec, a fat biftec, couldn't give a fish's tit, as my mother used to say. So Italy, which dish has been cooked cotta al forno? No, I'll repeat that, sorry. A dish which has been cooked cotta al forno describes food that has been cooked by which method? I'll repeat that again, because I made a mess of that, didn't I, silly old fool I am. A dish which has been cooked cotta al forno describes food that has been cooked by which method? And on to question number 14, pop music again. Complete the title of the 2000 UK #1 for All Saints. Black what? Well, you can't say many black things these days, so there you go. But you can say this, black. Complete the title of this 2000 UK #1 for All Saints, whoever they might be. Black what? Question number 15. Which sports equipment company claimed 66 was a great year for English footballer? Eric was born, whoever Eric might be. Which sports equipment company claimed 66 was a great year for English football? Because Eric was born. Goody, goody. Question number 16. What name is given to the rich soil which is a mixture of sand and silt? What name is given to the rich soil which is a mixture of sand and silt? Question number 17. Which term can mean a lack of television reception in Britain or a foul in American football? Which term can mean a lack of television reception in Britain or a foul in American football? I dare say that if Bud is watching, which he may or may not be from the New World, he might be able to give us the answer to that. Question number 18. Which cartoon character was the conscience of the character Pinocchio? Which cartoon character was the conscience of Pinocchio? Time for a drink. I hope you're all having a drink at home. You know, I mean, you should be treating this like a pub quiz in proper fashion. Right, question number 19. It's an anagram, so get your pens ready, folks. This is one that you need to put down and write it down, and then you can do it at half time if you like then. Right, number 19, anagram. One animal failure, that's one as in O-N-E, animal as in animals, failure as in no good, is an anagram of which footballer? One animal failure is an anagram of which footballer? I imagine that's association football rather than rugby football, because I've certainly never heard of him. And I don't think, by the sound of his name, he's British, but I don't know. He could well be. Oh, here we are. Sheila's just come to see us, yes. So in here we have Sheila and Jar Jar down there, the little fawn French bulldog. Okay, moving on to question number 20. History. Which King of England was crowned on Christmas Day? Which King of England was crowned on Christmas Day? Now time for a fag. I can sit here, you see, in my make-believe pub, having a fag and having a drink. Marvellous, really. And broadcasting to several chums, I imagine. Well, I hope I am, anyway. Question number 21. What is the NATO phonetic for the letter Q? What is the NATO phonetic for the letter Q? Question number 22, sorry. Food and drink. What is the two-word name of the ice cream sundae invented in the 1920s, which is usually eaten from a tall conical glass with a distinctive long spoon? I think you'll all know that. Question number 23. Which credit card was advertised with the slogan "Priceless"? Which credit card was advertised with the slogan "Priceless"? Question number 24. What type of gobstoppers were famously made by Willy Wonka? Willy Wonka. I read that wrong, I do beg your pardon. What type of gobstoppers were famously made by Willy Wonka? Question number 25. The television show Neighbours, which I have never seen, is set in which fictional suburb of Melbourne? The television show Neighbours is set in the fictional suburb of Melbourne. What's the name of this fictional suburb? Which American president said that the ballot is stronger than the bullet? Which American president said the ballot is stronger than the bullet? Question number 27. From which satirical series did Ed Miliband famously borrow the term omnishambles? From which satirical series did Ed Miliband famously borrow the term omnishambles? Question number 28. Which sex symbol appeared in the video for Adam Ant's Prince Charming video? Which sex symbol appeared in the video for Adam Ant's Prince Charming video? And I've actually slept in her bed. Unfortunately, she wasn't in it, but I'll tell you when you get the answers how that occurred. The penultimate question of the first half. Not his best known wife, who was married to Graça Michel from 98 until his death in 2013. Not his best known wife, who was married to Graça Michel from 98 until 2013. And the final question of this half is, which country has borders with Nicaragua, Guatemala and El Salvador? Which country has borders with Nicaragua, Guatemala and El Salvador? So I shall come back fairly shortly and give you the answers to that. In the meantime, pour yourselves a drink or whatever you want to do. The second half is of course shorter because there's only 20 questions and 10 of those are baggy questions about Shipston, so I hope you'll get some amusement from those. And in the meantime, I shall waffle on while you continue looking at your papers. Obviously, you've got to mark them yourselves, unless there's more than one of you doing it in different areas of the room, but I suspect that most of you are isolated. So, yes, Sheila reliably informs me, that the most of the population of ladies within Britain are no longer wearing bras because they are inside their houses and therefore do not need to wear bras, which is quite interesting, really. I, for one, am wearing some, I think they're popularly known as leisure trousers, which are quite the most disgusting things to look at, and I believe they're made of recycled plastic bottles. They're particularly unpleasant to look at, and no, you will not be able to see them at all. And Sheila says you look as if you've been kitted out by Adam's children's wear baggy, which probably is true. In all fairness, Sheila has also said in the past, Baggy, you are impervious to fashion. So I probably am impervious to fashion. So there we go. But yes, on that message, Sheila and I are bumbling along well together. I mean, we've been together closer to 40 years and 30 years, and we're just bumbling along nicely out here. You know, we're very lucky, I have to say, because we've got a lovely garden here, and that little house, the department of the pub is perfectly satisfactory. We've got plenty of grub, 2 lovely dogs, and I can sit here talking to people, and I can even let out a silent but deadly fart without even poisoning you all, which is, you know, really rather satisfactory. So 1 or 2 things we have got to look forward to. The asparagus season is nearly upon us. Possibly, I spoke to Mark Holberton down at Tolton Mill, and he tells me that in a fortnight or thereabouts, asparagus will be being cut. So I very much look forward to that. I've had some under the glass grown British asparagus, and that's very pleasant, but the forced stuff. But I'm looking forward to the proper stuff. So there we go. It's something to look forward to. Now, the other day I said, look, chaps, don't watch too much gloom and doom on the television, because all you'll do is you'll overload your system, get yourself depressed, and it's no good to you. You need to watch some comical television. Now, with all the technology we have these days, most of the time I watch black and white 1950s films, which just happens to be my cup of tea. But Sheila and I have been watching 1 or 2 films together, and a couple of very good recommendations for uplifting films are, 1, The Fisherman's Friends, which is all about the Port Isaac fishermen and how they became stars. And the other film, which is highly amusing, I think, and again very uplifting, is the Guernsey Potato Peel Pie Literary Society. So remember those 2. I think they're both available on Amazon, which we get because we're Amazon Prime. Whether you get them without Amazon Prime, I don't know. But they're both certainly worth watching and very uplifting and jolly good films, actually. So there we go. Not much more to say at half time. I don't know how long I've been waffling on, and we could probably get on with the quiz fairly shortly, I suppose. I had thought of trying to put this thing on YouTube and send it out to a wider audience, but A, I'm totally incapable of putting it on YouTube. I've struggled and tried, and of course I can't invite anybody into the shed to help me do it, because I'm an enfeebled old fart at risk to catching COVID-19. But anyway, I'm not bloody well going to catch it. I'm going to keep winding some little bit of beer and a little bit of gin into me, interspersed with the odd cigarette, cup of coffee, and some damn good grub, and Sheila makes some super grub. So we're all right anyway. There we go. So let's crack on with the second part of the quiz, which is question number 31. Voiced by Brian Truman. Oh no, I tell you that, I've got to give you the answers, haven't I? I'm a silly old bugger. Right, the answers are as follows, if you're all ready. Right, question number 1. According to the adverts, the brand of swimwear, that is the choice of champions, are Speedos. We call it jam. The Americans call it jelly. Why they call it jelly, Lord alone knows. But it's beyond me. I just don't understand. There you go. Question number 3. The Prime Minister of Cuba from 59 to 76, after which he made himself president from 76 to 2008, of course, is Fidel Castro. The name of the Downton Abbey dog that was killed off, possibly because of her name, was Isis. The drama series where an MI5 agent called Zaf was captured by terrorists, tortured and killed, is Spooks. The surname of the famous Coronation Street couple who had children called Sylvia, Tony, Irma and Trevor, of course, was Ogden, Stan and Hilda. And those were the days when Coronation Street was actually worth watching. I haven't watched it for about 6 years, not one episode, but there you go. Question number 7, the member of the World Cup team in '66, who also played some first-class matches for Essex, is Geoff Hurst. The pop music question, Will Young, Jerry Lee Lewis and the Kings of Leon all had #1 songs with the word fire in them. Question number 9, WSS is a famous Leonard Bernstein musical standing for West Side Story. Question number 10, the name of the white cat in the Catter Meat advertisements is Arthur. Question number 11, the name of the supervillain in the films Despicable Me and Despicable Me 2 is Gru, G-R-U. That means absolutely nothing to me, and it seems jolly silly, but there you go, as does the next answer. But right, name the year. Wycliffe Jean or Jean, Sean Diddy Coombs and J.Z. were all born in 1969. So if you get 69, award yourself 2 points. If you get 67, 68, 60, 66, 67 or 68, award yourself 1 point. If you get 70, 71 or 72, award yourself 1 point. Question number 13, the Italian dish that has been cooked, cotta al forno, describes food that is being cooked by which method? And it is baked, and nothing else will do. Question number 14, complete the title of the 2000 UK #1 for All Saints was Black Coffee. That's about one of the few black things that you can have. I suppose you can have a black car and black coffee, but there you go. Question number 15, the sports equipment company that claimed '66 was a great year for English football because Eric was born was Nike or Nike. Question number 16, the name given to the rich soil was a mixture of sand and silt is loam. Television, which term can mean a lack of television reception in England or a foul in American football, is interference. Question number 18, the cartoon character who was the conscience of Pinocchio was Jiminy Cricket. And now this one. One animal failure is an anagram of the footballer called Marouane Fellaini. Marouane Fellaini, whoever he might be, I'll spell it. Marouane-Fellaini. I have no idea who he is, where he comes from, who he plays for, or anything else. Question number 20. The King of England that was crowned on Christmas Day is, of course, Bill the Conk, William the Conqueror, or if you prefer, William the First. Question number 21. What is the NATO phonetic for the letter Q? It is Quebec. Question number 22. The two-word name of the ice cream sundae, etc., is, of course, Knickerbocker Glory. We had to get some knickers in there somewhere or other, didn't we? Question number 23. The credit card that was advertised with the slogan Priceless is MasterCard. Question number 24. The type of gobstoppers that were famously made by Willy Wonka, not the first thing I said, are everlasting. Question number 25. The television show Neighbours is set in the fictional suburb of Erinsborough. Question number 26. The American president that claimed the ballot is stronger than the bullet is, of course, Abraham Lincoln. Question number 27. the satirical series that Ed Miliband famously borrowed the term omnishambles from, is The Thick of It. Question number 28. The sex symbol that appeared in the video for Adam Ant's Prince Charming video was Diana Dawes. And the reason that I slept in her bed was because we were in Sicily, in Taormina, and she'd just moved out of a suite there, and my father took the suite for us as a family. And so I made sure I slept in every bed so I could go back to school and say, I've slept in Diana Dawes' bed. Which is true, I had, but just sadly she wasn't there. Not his best known wife, Graça Machel, was married to Nelson Mandela. And the ultimate question was, which country has borders with Nicaragua, Guatemala and El Salvador? It is Honduras. So that completes that part of the quiz. So I'm sure you've all got lots and lots of points, and if you haven't, it doesn't matter because it's just for fun. So moving swiftly on now, because we've had the beer break. Well, I'm having beer all the time, I can assure you. Question number 31. Voiced by Brian Truman, what was the name of the crow henchman in Danger Mouse? Voiced by Brian Truman, what was the name of the crow henchman in the show Danger Mouse? Question number 33. I beg your pardon, question number 32. What term describes perfect eyesight and a form of cricket? Very easy one. What term describes perfect eyesight and a form of cricket? That's cricket with a willow bat, not a little thing that goes beep, beep. Oh, you know what I mean anyway. Question number 33. What name is given to the structure of a bridge which is anchored only at one end to a support from which it is protruding? And I'll repeat that because that's quite complicated. What name is given to the structure of a bridge which is anchored only at one end to a support from which it is protruding? Question number 34. What name is given to the young of a cat? Now, if you don't all get that, we might as well give up hope. Question number 35. What was the name of the Dodge Charger car made famous in the show The Dukes of Hazzard? What was the name of the Dodge Charger car made famous in The Dukes of Hazzard? Excuse me. Question number 36. What is the two-letter postcode prefix for Leeds? What is the two-letter postcode prefix for Leeds? Question number 37. Film. Which X-Wing pilot was played by Dennis Lawson in the first 3 Star Wars films? Do you know, I've never seen one Star Wars film, let alone 3. There's probably a lot more now. Which X-Wing pilot was played by Dennis Lawson in the first 3 Star Wars films? Question number 38. Which singer won the Eurovision Song Contest for Switzerland in 1988? Which singer won the Eurovision Song Contest for Switzerland in 1988? Now, I didn't realise that this particular person was a Swiss roll, to be honest with you. I thought she or he was from somewhere completely different. I think that he or she is from somewhere completely different. But anyway, she or he won the Eurovision contest for the Swiss Rolls in 1988. Question number 39. In The Simpsons, who is headmaster of the school that Bart attends? In The Simpsons, who is the headmaster of the school that Bart attends? And this is the last of the general questions coming up. Question number 40. Born in 1914, which American baseball player was the former husband of Marilyn Monroe? Born in 1914, which American baseball player was the former husband of Marilyn Monroe? Now, I think there is a famous pop song which mentions him being the lover or the husband of Marilyn Monroe. Right then, on to the baggy bit. On to the baggy bit. So these are question number 1 of the local questions, and I'm sorry for those of you that aren't local. I do apologise, but this is for local people to a large extent, so we needed to put a few local questions in. So here we go. Question number 1. Who opened the Ellen Badger Day Unit in 1992? Who opened the Ellen Badger Day Unit in 1992? Question number 2. This local chap has the ability to whittle a carrot into a perfectly formed penis, and also to very successfully campaign a 1950s Canadian Sadler racing car. I'll repeat that. And he is a local chap. He's 4 miles from Chippenham, and he is pretty famous in his own genre. This local chap has the ability to whittle a carrot into a perfectly formed penis and to successfully campaign a 1950s Canadian Sadler racing car. What is his name, please? Question number 3. What was the name of the last publicans at the Red Lion in Shipston-on-Stour, and which pub did they go to after this? 1 point for the names of them, and another point for the pub that they went to after the Red Lion. And they were the last publicans. I know Peter and Elaine Roberts ran it as a guest house, and it was licensed, but I'm talking about when it was a full-blown proper pub. Question number 4. Who was Ilmington's famous Nobel Prize winner? Who was Ilmington's famous Nobel Prize winner? Well, she was famous in her own genre, but so now you know it's a woman anyway. Clue, I'm giving you a clue away, yes. Question number 5. Who is Shipston's twice world champion Grand Prix motorcycle winner? I'll repeat that as well. Who is Shipston's twice world champion Grand Prix motorcycle winner? Question number 6. What was the little co-op called after the post office and before the co-op came? Who owned it and what was it called? That's the little co-op. What was it called after it was the post office and before it was the co-op? Question number 7. In 1931, Shipston-on-Stour became part of Warwickshire. Not until 1931 Shipston-on-Stour became part of Warwickshire. From which county did it become part of Warwickshire? In other words, until 1931, what county was Shipston-on-Stour in? Question number 8. Where were the famous Sheldon tapestries made? Where were the famous Sheldon tapestries made? And they really are world famous, actually, and huge amounts of work and most interesting. So if you ever want something to do, Google the Sheldon tapestries. Where were they made? Now, question number 9 is an interesting one, and I happen to know the answer. I don't know whether I've told several people the answer over the years. I wonder how many people will remember. From which station did the clock on the front of the White Bear come from? I will tell you it's 47 miles away, and I know this because I bought it there. From which station did the clock on the front of the White Bear come from? And the station was approximately 47 miles away. And the ultimate question, which local family owned Compton Verney until 1921? Which local family owned Compton Verney until 1921? Now that completes the quiz. I'll give you a bit of time just to get your answers together for that. And I'll have a quick fag and another slurp of beer. You know, even our little dogs, Pongo and Jar Jar, who of course are effectively isolated as well because they can't go on walk. In fact, here comes Jar Jar now with Sheila. There she is, little Jar Jar. Pongo won't get out of his bed in the kitchen, but she's here, so there we go. But they feel the isolation because they can't go on all their walks and things as normal, and so they've only got themselves to play with. But anyway, hey-ho.
So who all have you got watching, Baggy?
I don't know. We'll find out later.
It says on the side there.
Oh, I can't read all that.
You just scroll up and down on that thing.
Well, so there we go. I'll tell you one thing. When all this is over, we'll have a bloody good party. we will have a ruddy good party. But I think life will change. Well, it has changed at the moment, and I think it will continue being changed. Our whole ethos will have shifted, which is probably not a bad thing in a way. There's a lot wrong with the world at the moment, and in a kind of way, I'm not a religious person, far from it, in fact. But it's almost as if the world needed a shake-up, and it's pretty well getting a shake-up. We will get through it, make no mistake. We will get through it. It's very sad that so many people are dying and are going to die, but make no mistake about it. As Mr. Churchill says, KBO, keep buggering on and we'll get through it. Right then, time for the answers to the next questions. So, question number 31 was, what was the name of the Crow henchman in the television show Danger Mouse? It was Stiletto. Question number 32, what term describes perfect eyesight and a form of cricket? It is, of course, 2020. The name given to the structure of a bridge which is anchored only at one end to a support from which it is protruding is a cantilever bridge. Question number 34, the name given to the young of a cat is a kitten, which reminds me of dear old James Sharp, who was very erudite and ran the sweetie shop. And James Sharp, Sheila, myself and various other people were in the White Bear drinking with Bill Smethurst, the editor of the Archers at that time. And James Sharp suddenly said, "Ah, Molly," which was his favourite expression. "Ah, Molly," he said, "tell me," he said, "what's the young of an octopus called?" And we all scratched our heads and nobody came up with a satisfactory answer. And he said, "You silly buggers, it's an octo-kitten, of course." So the very next episode of The Archers had that particular joke in it, and actually then, of course, Sheila and I were written into The Archers, and we were in it for several weeks, months, even a couple of years, and occasionally I appear. I rear my ugly head, but anyway, time's gone by.
Keep on.
Moving on. Question number 35, the name of the Dodge Charger made famous in the television show The Dukes of Hazzard is the General Lee. Question number 36, the two-letter postcode prefix for Leeds is LS, that's Lima Sierra. Question number 37, the X-Wing pilot played by Dennis Lawson, not Nigella Lawson, Dennis Lawson in the first three Star Wars films is Wedge Antilles. Question number 38. Which singer won the Eurovision Song Contest for Switzerland in 1988? It was Celine Dion. Now, I thought Celine Dion was a maple leaf, a Canadian, not a Swiss roll, but I don't know, there you go. Seems odd to me, but that's that. Question number 39. In The Simpsons, the headmaster of the school that Bart attended is Seymour Skinner. What a horrible name. Seymour Skinner. Question number 40. Born in 1914, the American baseball player who was the former husband of Marilyn Monroe, of course, was Joe DiMaggio. And on to the baggy questions. Question number 1. Who opened the Ellen Badger Day Unit in 1992 was, of course, Princess Diana. And famously, the Shipston Ladies Rugger team at the time were in a bus, a minibus, and they all mooned at Princess Diana by taking their shorts down and sticking them out the bus windows, or at the bus windows. quiz. Hey-ho, there we go. Right, question 2. This local chap has the ability to whittle a carrot into a perfectly formed penis. Well, he does. I've never seen anything like it. You know, he's a past master at it. He does it at dinner parties and then gives them to girls. And he also successfully campaigns the 1950s Canadian Sadler race car. Well, I've seen him live. I've been down to watch him on various occasions. And in fairness, if you Google him, you can see he's a complete maniac in his car. I say maniac, that's not the right word, but he is so good. And his name is Julian Mazoub, and he lives in Walford. So, question number 3, the name of the last publicans at the Red Lion in Shipston, and which pub did they go to after this? That was Ernie and Faith Mosley. I will accept Ernie and Faith. I will accept Mosley. And the pub that they went to after that was the Coach and Horses. Question number 4. Who was Ilmington's famous Nobel Prize winner? Was Dorothy Hodgkin, who won it for, I think, chemistry, in fact. Question number 5, and who is Shipston's twice world champion Grand Prix motorcycle winner? And it's Cecil Sanford. And Cecil's still with us, thanks be to God. And you'll often see him bumbling around the town. Great man, and a real wonder on a motorcycle. Question number 6. What was the name of the inhabitants of the little co-op after the post office and before it became co-op? It was Acorn Stores, and it was called Acorn Stores because it was run by the Oak Cash and Carry Company in Banbury, and therefore it was the son of the Oak Cash and Carry, and therefore it was an acorn being the son of an oak tree. So there you go. Right, in 1931, question number 7, in 1931, Shipston Star became part of Warwickshire. Until then, it was in Worcestershire. Question number 8, the famous Sheldon tapestries, and I say do have a look at them online, because they are quite wonderful, were made in Barcheston. Question number 9, which station did the clock on the front of the White Bear come from? Well, I know this because I put it there when we had the White Bear and I bought it. And it came from Snow Hill Station in Birmingham. It hasn't got the railway insignia on it, but I bought it from there, and I don't know, it was probably in a refreshment room or something or other, but that's where it came from anyway. And question number 10, which local family owned Compton Verney until 1921? It was Willoughby de Broke, spelt Willoughby de Broke, B-R-O-K-E, and they are still about locally up at Ditchford. So that completes the quiz, ladies and gentlemen, and that's about it really. If you want another quiz, I'll do one with pleasure. If you don't want another one, you know, tell me that as well, and I'll stop bumbling about and boring you all. But from Sheila behind me here.
Look, darling, before you sign off, why don't you look down there? People might put their results.
Yes, I've just been told that there's all kinds of stuff here on here. Oh, well, there's lots of people coming. Yes, oh yes, well, there's quite a lot of people bumbled on.
And they're putting some funny answers. Have a little look and talk about them. People have
that. Right, so what have we got here? Peter Wilson got the J-Zo one. Lizzie Hare reckoned it was Bolivia. I don't know what the answer to that one was. Tony Brandfield said, don't stand up. That wasn't one. Lizzie Hare said, no, oh no, it was my trousers I think he was talking about. Tony Brandfield says, arsenic and old lace. Well, that wasn't one. Ian Piper seems to be liking it. Tony Brandfield says, I don't want to be in America. No, nor do I. Tony Brandfield, Belgian baggy, Everton and Manchester United. That must have been that unpronounceable footballer. Peter Wilson scored 20 in the first round. That's jolly good. Steve Morris seemed to enjoy it. Samantha Glover's enjoyed it. Chris Shenton's enjoyed it. Philip Deitch scored 23. Cheryl Dudfield got 33. Peter Wilson got 25 out of 50. Samantha Glover. Sarah Clemens only saw halfway through, but loved it. Ian Piper loved the quiz. So anyway, it sounds as if you want me to do it again, which I'm very happy to do so. And I'll put a humorous bulletin together again before next Friday's quiz, and I'll let you know when it is. So keep your eye on my Facebook page. I shan't be going viral, which is not a particularly good word at the moment, with YouTube. I want to keep things local because it's the local community that matter to me here. There's plenty of other people casting the net far and wide, so there we are. So it's Baggy and Sheila and Jaja and Pongo in the house signing off, and
Bye-bye.
there we go. Sheila says bye-bye. You see, you know, we're still together. All's well. Keep buggering on. Keep safe. Bye.